What is up, my friends? Welcome to my channel. And here's an update on my portfolio. As you guys can see, we're at just a little bit over $220,000 currently. And of course, on my channel now we are selling calls and puts. So that's what I've been doing since basically the beginning of the year. And so today was a very profitable day for me, but not because of calls or puts. Let me explain what happened here. Yesterday, I sold a cash secured put on QQQ. So if we look at this list here, I got a list of ETFs that I like to do options on, or ones that I'm considering doing options on. And of course, QQQ is one of my favorite ones. And so I did an option cash secured put on QQQ yesterday, and I thought that I was not going to be assigned the shares. So if we scroll down here, let me show you guys which one it was. It was this one here, yesterday. So I thought I was going to make this $110, but I didn't. I did not make that $110. And so what ended up happening is that I was assigned the shares. So let me show you guys, and let me see if it shows up here that I was assigned the shares. I thought I was going to make $110, but turns out I was assigned the shares. So here it is. So instead of making $110 yesterday, I ended up being assigned the shares. Okay, so if we open this up, let's see if it shows it here. Okay, yeah, it was assigned. And the share price that I was assigned at was lower than this. So I had now, when I woke up this morning, 100 shares of QQQ at 617 and some change. I'd say like 617.50. So when I woke up this morning, you know, I owned 100 shares of QQQ at $617.50, I believe. So what I ended up doing was I immediately ended up just selling 100 shares. So I owned 100 shares for $617.50. And this morning I just did a limit sell for the 626.42. So I did end up making a little bit over $800 today. At first I thought, well, maybe I'll just sell a call, like at the money, an at the money call. I was thinking about selling a call at the 625, but I decided to just sell the shares to immediately pocket that $800 because it was there. So it was there, it was available. I was up 800 and almost close to $900. So I decided to sell off those shares and take the money. And what I did instead was I sold those shares, and so immediately I had the money to sell a cash secured put on QQQ. So that's what I did. So this morning I sold a cash secured put, and as you guys can see here, I will be assigned the shares. It was unprofitable, so I'm going to be assigned the shares at, I guess, 619. No, this was probably, no, this was yesterday. So we can close that. It's going to be this one here, okay? So I'm being assigned the shares at the 624, which it will be less than 624, because what happens is that, I didn't know this before, but now that I know, I was going to get paid. I believe it was let's look at that. So if you're going to make, let's go back to QQQ. Let's just go here, and we'll go QQQ. Go back to the NASDAQ. And let me show you guys that, I sold the call. I sold a cash secured put, and it was unprofitable, so I didn't make any money on this cash secured put, but I will be owning the shares. So it's right here. It's going to be assigned. I was going to potentially receive this premium. Let me show you guys the premium. It's right here. I thought I was going to make $84 today, but turns out I'm not going to make $84. What's going to happen is I'm going to end up owning the shares. So the way they figure this out is that it's 624 was the strike price. But what they're going to do is they're going to give me the shares at this with this discount. So that's how this ends up happening here. So what they'll do is, for example, let me break out a calculator here. So if we open this calculator, we go to 624, 624 minus the 84 cents that I thought I was going to receive per share. So minus 84, and that turns out to be $623.16. So that's what they're going to give me 100 shares for. When this is assigned, when this cash secured put is assigned, I will receive 100 shares, not at the 624, but at 623 and 16 cents. That's what ends up happening here. So basically they kind of give you, instead of giving you the premium, they kind of just give you like somewhat of a discount, I guess you can say. So that's what's going to happen when I get assigned these 100 shares. And so obviously tomorrow, since I'll own 100 shares of QQQ, I will of course immediately begin selling calls on it, just like I've been selling calls on SPY since I currently own SPY. So if we look at the SPY, which I own shares of, you guys will be able to see how much I made today on SPY. So I currently own SPY for $6.93 and 46 cents, 100 shares. And so I sold a call today. Since the price was high, I decided to sell for $6.95, thinking that that my shares were going to get called away. But they didn't. So since they didn't get called away at the $6.95, I will be pocketing this $80. So even if they would have gotten called away, I still would get paid this $80. So I will be making, well, $80, right? So I made, from selling QQQ this morning, a little bit over $800 plus $80. I'm assuming that I made like a little bit over $900 today. So from selling QQQ early this morning, and then here $80 on this SPY. So I have one more option here that I sold on Robinhood. Now, I thought Robinhood was going to continue to trend up, but today Robinhood kind of, I don't know, I guess there was a sell-off on Robinhood. And so that's why you see that the price of this put has gone up to over $3. And so I'm not receiving $3 per share on this. I sold this for an average cost of $155. So it looks like I'm going to be obligated potentially to own 100 shares of Robinhood. Of course, this doesn't expire until tomorrow. So who knows? If the price of Robinhood, let's look at the actual price here per share. And the actual price of Robinhood per share is $111.78. So obviously, currently it's under the 113, which is, that's what this put I sold is on. So I believe it should show up here somewhere, maybe. Or maybe here it is. So as you guys can see, this expires tomorrow on the 16th. The strike price is 113. And so if Robinhood goes above $113 by tomorrow, I should receive this premium here of $155, and I won't own the shares. Now, do I mind owning the shares? No, I don't mind owning the shares because according to some of this information here, there's a very high buy rating currently on Robinhood stock. It's 78%. And I believe there's also a, if we scroll down here a little bit more, okay. No, it isn't. it doesn't show what the fair value is on here. So on my phone, it has a little bit more information. It shows fair value, or maybe it's a little bit up here above. No, I guess it's not. So on my phone, it has a little bit more information about the fair value of this stock. And by, I guess, these analysts who are considering this a buy, I believe the fair value that they had was $277 for Robinhood stock. So do I mind holding it if I must hold it? No, I don't mind holding it, because if I have to own 100 shares of Robinhood stock, well, of course, then I will immediately begin to sell covered calls on Robinhood stock. So potentially tomorrow, or by Monday, certainly tomorrow I will own QQQ, and of course I own SPY. So I'll definitely be owning 100 shares of SPY and 100 shares of QQQ. And by Monday, I may potentially own 100 shares of Hood stock. And obviously what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be selling calls on all three of those if I happen to own all three. Now, currently, all of my cash, as you guys know, sits here in SGov. Now, I am starting to reduce this SGov position here. I sold off $1,000 worth of SGov to buy $1,000 worth of this ETF. Let me show you guys what it is. I have this list of ETFs that I'm interested in purchasing, and so it's right here. SCHG, Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF. If we look back 5 years, as you guys can see, it's done very well in the past 5 years. If we look at maximum, also it's done very well, right? Basically, it's like the S&P 500, similar to the S&P 500, but I believe this ETF does outperform the S&P 500. This ETF pays a quarterly dividend, so it's not a monthly dividend, but that's okay because it has the growth. So what I'm going to be trying to do is I'm going to be trying to reach 100 shares of this slowly by offloading from SGov and just buying this at dips. So I currently own 30, a little bit over 30 shares, 30.82 shares at $32.44. So currently it's at 32.46. So I bought it somewhere, in here or maybe up here a little bit. And so this is one ETF that I'm going to be buying on red days. So down here it was in the red, and that's when I decided to buy $1,000 worth. So what I'm thinking of doing is that I have $218,000 in SGov. So I'm going to start selling every time I see that the market is in the red and there's some ETF that I would like to own. I'm going to start selling $1,000 worth of this so I can buy something else with it, at least up to the 18,000. So I want to at least get down to 200,000 here in SGov, and slowly start buying different ETFs that I think will do good. Different ETFs that I think will continue to increase in value. And so if we look over at the it's the Fear and Greed Index. Why don't we take a look at that real quick? Fear and Greed Index. It's been a while, but currently we're in greed, which is great. I remember all last year in 2025, we were in this area over here. It barely ever made it to neutral last year in 2025. And of course, in April, it was in extreme fear, which would be this portion here. But for the most part, 2025 was right here in fear. Just towards the end of the year, we started going into neutral, which is this area here. But now, of course, we're in greed. And I believe even cryptocurrency is in greed currently. And so we're into greed. And so, in a way, I guess you could say greed is good in this case, I guess, because that may, show that the market is going to continue to rally. Now, if we look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 has been rallying for maybe so far this whole month, right? It started in December and now into this month, so it's been doing well. So it's not unusual for it to have some kind of a pullback, some kind of a dip. But even now, it may continue to rise. So yesterday, I did mention that I'm in here somewhere. If you guys remember, in yesterday's video, I said that this almost looked like a cup and handle. Although when I read the description for a cup and handle formation takes weeks to be produced, I guess. But although it did kind of look like a cup and handle here, and then it did rise. So what's going to happen next? It kind of peaked here. Not as high as this, but close, hitting its almost all-time high again. So what's it going to do from here? I really don't know. It kind of just, well, we'll see. We'll see what it does. But nonetheless, tomorrow I'm going to be selling covered calls both on SPY and QQQ. And maybe by Monday, selling calls on Robinhood stock. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And also, don't know if I have a list here of these ETFs that I'm considering a buy. Maybe. Don't know yet. But I'm considering buying some of these. These may be familiar to you guys. This TAP Alpha, of course, TDAC. This one here, K Yield, I guess, from Curve, high income. I haven't bought any. I'm still thinking about it, like SPY and some of these ETFs that pay monthly dividends. So maybe, potentially, as I'm buying into growth with SCHG and maybe SPYG, which is also in this list up here, SPYG, which is also just a growth ETF. So maybe in combination, at the same time, buying growth and buying some of these ETFs that, aren't specifically made for growth. They're specifically made to pay you something every month, like SPY. Maybe if you own them in combination, you can experience both the growth and the income. So if we look here at the 5 years, let's look at the maximum. So if we look at the maximum here, I mean, this looks pretty good, right? Started off back here at 20 bucks, a little bit of a downturn here. But nonetheless, so far, I mean, it's been good. I believe this has outperformed the S&P 500 also. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward here. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. You guys have a great one. God bless. We will catch you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.